This is an Australian delicacy called fairy bread.
Under the blinding lights of Hollywood, there's a smile the world recognizes. Dazzling, confident, untouchable. But behind that perfect smile hides a story of grit, rebellion, and raw ambition. Before Margot Robbie became the face of billion-dollar blockbusters, she was just a barefoot girl from a small Australian town, dreaming beyond the fences of her family's farm. She didn't have connections, money, or even a plan, only a stubborn belief that she could belong in a world that didn't know her name. Years later, she would stand beside Leonardo DiCaprio, transform into Harley Quinn, and even produce one of the most successful films in cinema history, Barbie. But her path wasn't painted in pink. It was carved through controversy, misjudgment, and relentless work. How did a country girl from Queensland rise from serving drinks in a bar to reshaping what it means to be a woman in power in Hollywood? And what did it cost her to smile for the cameras while fighting to be taken seriously behind them? This is the untold journey of Margot Robbie, the woman who turned the chaos of fame into her own masterpiece. Long before the flashing cameras and red carpets, Margot Elise Robbie's world was made of wide fields, muddy boots, and the endless skies of rural Queensland, Australia. She was born in Dalby in 1990 and raised in the small coastal town of Gold Coast by her mother, Sari Kessler, a physiotherapist who juggled work and single motherhood after Margot's father left the family. Money was tight, but Margot's spirit was anything but small. She climbed trees, raced motorbikes, and spent her days helping on the family farm. There were no acting schools or movie sets, just open land and a restless imagination. She often entertained her siblings with homemade plays, building cardboard stages and using her mother's old clothes for costumes. But underneath the laughter, there was a quiet fire, a desire to escape the ordinary. Margot once said, "I didn't want to grow up wondering what if. I wanted more than cows and fences." She took odd jobs to support herself, cleaning houses, working in Subway, bartending. Every paycheck went to her dream, acting lessons, audition trips, and the faint hope that one day someone would notice. In that small Australian town, nobody could have imagined that this fearless, sunburned girl would one day challenge Hollywood's idea of perfection and win. Margot's first steps into acting were anything but glamorous. In her late teens, she auditioned for small commercials and low-budget Australian films, often rejected, often unpaid. But she refused to stop. Her first major break came in 2008, when she joined the long-running Australian soap opera Neighbours. Playing the bubbly and determined Donna Friedman, Margot quickly became a fan favorite. Yet even then, she knew she wanted more. She studied every scene, every camera angle, absorbing the craft like a student of survival. After 3 years on Neighbours, she made a bold move that would change her life forever. She packed her bags, left Australia, and landed in Los Angeles with nothing but a suitcase, a few headshots, and a relentless drive to prove herself. At first, the city didn't care. Auditions went nowhere, calls weren't returned, and she was often mistaken for just another pretty blonde. But Margot was strategic. She knew one moment could rewrite everything. That moment came in 2013. Martin Scorsese cast her opposite, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. Her audition, fiery, fearless, and unapologetic, shocked even Scorsese. During one take, she slapped DiCaprio across the face, unscripted, and owned the room. That slap echoed around Hollywood. Overnight, Margot Robbie became the woman everyone wanted to know, and the actress no one could forget. Overnight fame can destroy some actors, but for Margot Robbie, it was just the beginning. After The Wolf of Wall Street, every studio wanted her. She turned down the easy path, romantic comedies, glossy roles, empty fame, and chose complexity instead. In 2016, she transformed into Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, the unpredictable, candy-colored anti-hero who redefined comic book villains. Critics were divided, but audiences were mesmerized. Her performance was electric, chaotic yet deeply human, turning Harley into a pop culture icon that would outlive the film itself. But Margot wasn't content with just playing powerful women. She wanted to create them. She founded Lucky Chap Entertainment, her own production company, alongside her husband Tom Ackerley and close friends. Their mission: produce bold stories led by women. Not just in front of the camera, but behind it too. Her next move proved that vision. In I, Tonya 2017, she became Tonya Harding, the disgraced figure skater whose ambition collided with scandal. Margot didn't just act. She produced the film, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. Suddenly, the pretty blonde had become a force of creative control. Then came Bombshell 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2019, and finally, Barbie 2023, the film that shattered box office records, crossing $1.4 billion worldwide. More than a movie, Barbie became a cultural movement. And at its heart stood Margot Robbie, both its star and architect. In a sea of Hollywood noise, she had done the impossible, built an empire not on controversy but on clarity of vision. From a small-town girl to the woman who made pink powerful, Margot Robbie had officially reached her peak. But in Hollywood, every rise comes with a price. As Margot Robbie's star ascended, so did the scrutiny. The same media that once praised her brilliance began dissecting her every move, her looks, her clothes, her roles, even her smile. After The Wolf of Wall Street, tabloids branded her as the new sex symbol, reducing her craft to her beauty. She was asked endlessly about her body, her co-stars, and her rumored relationships, particularly with Leonardo DiCaprio. But Margot never took the bait. "I don't respond to nonsense," she once said, smiling through the noise. Her journey wasn't without professional turbulence either. Films like Amsterdam 2022 and Babylon 2022, ambitious projects with huge expectations, struggled at the box office. Critics wondered if Margot's era of dominance was fading. Social media, cruel as ever, turned every flop into a trending hashtag. Then came another challenge: being labeled too perfect to be relatable. In an age when authenticity sells, Margot's polished image made some audiences question her depth. But what they didn't see was the exhaustion behind that composure. The long hours as producer. The endless pressure to prove that women-led films could still make billions. Margot responded not with outrage, but with quiet rebellion. She doubled down on storytelling, using Lucky Chap to empower female voices, from promising young woman to maid. Behind her grace, there was grit. In a world that thrives on scandal, Margot Robbie mastered the art of surviving it. She didn't fight the storm. She redirected it, turning public fascination into her own weapon of control. The tabloids saw beauty. Hollywood saw a star, but those who looked deeper saw a strategist. By the early 2020s, Margot Robbie had transformed, not just as an actress, but as an architect of her own legacy. She no longer chased roles. She built them. The girl who once fought for auditions was now hand-selecting scripts, directors, and the very narratives Hollywood would tell about women. Her company, Lucky Chap Entertainment, became a creative powerhouse. Its projects, Promising Young Woman, Maid, and Barbie, weren't just successful. They reshaped cultural conversations. Each one challenged stereotypes, exploring ambition, trauma, and identity through unapologetically female lenses. Margot herself stepped back from constant on-screen presence to focus on producing, mentoring, and shaping the next generation of filmmakers. She chose intentional silence over noise, elegance over explanation. As critics debated her choices, Margot quietly redefined what power looked like: calm, strategic, and unstoppable. When Barbie conquered the box office in 2023, it wasn't just a commercial triumph. It was a declaration that storytelling ruled stronger than cynicism, and that femininity could be both playful and profound. "I don't want to be the loudest person in the room," she said in one interview. "I just want to build rooms worth speaking in." Margot Robbie was no longer playing Hollywood's game. She was rewriting its rules, with grace, intelligence, and quiet defiance. Today, Margot Robbie stands as more than a Hollywood star. She's a symbol of evolution. From the dusty fields of Queensland to the pink neon glow of global fame, her journey tells a story far greater than celebrity. It's the story of a woman who refused to let others define her limits. She's proven that success doesn't require scandal, that strength can coexist with grace, and that beauty, when paired with purpose, can move an entire industry forward. Margot turned her fame into fuel, her image into influence, and her setbacks into strategy. In an era obsessed with fast fame and louder voices, she became something rarer. Consistent, visionary, untouchable. Her work through Lucky Chap continues to open doors for women, on and off the screen, shaping Hollywood into a space where artistry and equality can coexist. And as the lights fade on one chapter of her career, one truth remains. Margot Robbie didn't just play roles. She built worlds. Her journey is proof that even in an industry built on illusion, authenticity still reigns. Margot Robbie's journey proves that beauty can build empires when it dares to think beyond the screen. If her story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories behind Hollywood's brightest stars.